Welcome to my workshop. Today's video it's all about storage, having additional storage for your tools and your bits and pieces in your workshops. So for this one I've partnered with Temu and I'm checking out two products that they offer on their website. Mainly a metal, allegedly heavy-duty storage rack for some power tools. We'll see how that's going to turn out, and actually a very interesting foam material that you can trace your tools on it, cut it out and have a really nice and solid solution for storing your most precious tools. Now the foam itself is actually quite thick and it's perfect for a drawer. However, I want to do something a little bit different, maybe a bit more interesting. As I mentioned, I've actually partnered with Temu for today's video and I do have an extra for you as well. So if you download the Temu app through the link that's down below in the description of this video or in the pinned comment, or just scan this barcode that should appear just here as well. And then in the search bar, you type in my code DWG3737, you will be able to get $100 worth of coupons for your shopping. But also maybe one of these products could be offered to you for only $1. So check it out and have a look, maybe a bit of extra for your shopping. However, you need to be aware, if you use the coupon code in the search engine, you will only have 24 hours before it expires, and you need to be a new customer to the Temu environment. I've made a bit of space just over here on this wall and I'm hoping to get that metal rack on it. So first of all, let's have a look what's actually in the box. Okay, so let's have a look at the products inside. As you can see, everything's lovely packaged here, so hopefully there won't be any damage to any of the parts. And check it out. Tell you what, there's actually quite a few pieces here. Obviously, you've got all the hardware to put it together, you've got a manual. And tell you what, from first looks, the quality is actually not bad at all. There's no issues with the paint job on this, and everything seems to be quite well made. So let's start putting this together. In the first step, we need two of these. That will be our outside pieces. In the middle, we're gonna need 3 tool holders, and the middle support look like this. And to put it together, we're gonna need these 20mm bolts. To start with, don't tighten all the hardware, just leave it a little bit loose as we're gonna be putting the next levels on. When everything will be done, then we'll come back and tighten everything up. The next level are these trays, and in this case we're going to need the 10mm bolts. For the next level that will look like this, we need actually 2 types of bolts. First of all, the 18mm bolts that will go on the outer pieces, and then on the inside pieces we're going to use the long 30mm. You also get these extra 3 accessories, for example for your screwdrivers, anything like that, and I'm going to install this one now. And in this similar way, we're going to install the top shelves. So the main body of the rack is now put together. I'm just going to make sure every single bolt is now nicely and properly secured. Alright, and now it's time to actually hang our rack. So I've got this place on my wall and as you can see I'm using some strange spaces to make sure I've got the right height of the rack. So yeah, just use whatever you've got in your workshop. Make sure to use a spirit level to check if everything is nice and level. Mark up the holes and later on we can pre-drill the holes and install our rack. Now the method you're going to do that depends on what your workshop is made of. Me, I've got a brick wall, so I've got no issues with that. And actually the hardware that comes with the whole set is, I think, more than sufficient for this use. However, if your shed is wooden, for example, then you probably have to think about the correct placement of this, as, you know, in theory, it will have to take a fair amount of weight. Okay, so I've loaded a few things on this, and you know what, it's holding up absolutely fine. The overall quality of this is fine. There's no issues with it, and for the price you have to pay for it, I think it's definitely worth it. Putting together, no issues at all, and as I say, the overall quality is fine, and it's holding pretty well to my wall. Now, the dimensions, okay, the whole rack is 127.5 long. Height from the highest point, we've got 38 centimeters, and the total depth, we've got 20 centimeters. So it's a fair amount of space you can utilize now for your tools and your bits and bobs. How about each segment? So for example, the tray itself, you've got 42 centimeters. So yeah, overall I'm actually quite pleased with this solution. It looks pretty good, and yeah, a lot more space to fill up with my tools. Alright, now it's time for the second part of the video with the second option for storing your tools, or should I say showcasing them. Right, let's check out the foam. And check these out. I think that's gonna look absolutely awesome on a wall, but as I say, you can use them in your drawers to make sure every piece of equipment you have has its own space and it's nicely displayed. So we've got 33 centimeters by about 40 centimeters, and the thickness is 5 centimeters. Okay, so depending on how thick your equipment is, that's how thick you need to cut out the shape. Okay, so for example, a knife like this or like this should do the job just fine. In my case though, I'm not going to do drawers for a cabinet. I actually want to have these on a wall. So what I'm going to use 12mm MDF to create, let's say, a frame for it, like a picture frame with a back, and I'm going to put that in there. Then I will be able to hang it up quite easily. And I'm going to paint the MDF in a color that will suit my workshop, plus the edges, the top edges that will show. I'm actually going to use some hardwoods for that really nice effect. So hopefully they will look really cool. Now with my table, so I'm going to cut out all the pieces from 12mm MDF for the boxes that will accommodate the foam. And now with my miter saw, I'm going to cut all the panels and all the pieces to the correct lengths. Now it's time to put these boxes together. I'm just going to be using wood glue and some brad nails. But obviously if you don't have an air gun, a normal screws will do absolutely fine. And there you go, that's the first box done, and I'm going to carry on in the same way with the other two. Okay, now I'm just going to clean out our boxes from the wood glue residue and just sand the edges as well. I'm using grit 120. Now I'm going to add a bit of colour to our boxes, only to the parts that actually will be visible. No point of wasting paint on areas where you'll never see it. Now I'm going to go with 2 coats in total, with a bit of denibbing in between coats. With the paint dried up on the boxes, I can now attach some hardwood framing on top, and later on, when that's done, I'm going to come back with a bit of spray varnish to seal everything up. Now the finish over here, I'm just going to be using spray varnish high gloss. Simple and quick. Okay, now it's time for the hardest part of this project, deciding what goes onto the foam itself. For me, that's more or less what I've got for this little square here. And I'm going to use my knife to actually trace more or less the shape of these. And then with this longer knife, I'm going to scoop out the inside foam. Hopefully it will work just fine. So more or less that's how you follow this process. I need to add a bit of depth to it now, so I need to remove a bit more of that red foam to accommodate the body of that square. So just take your time with this, you know, make it as accurate as you can, and check that out. That fits beautifully. Fantastic. Now what we need is just an opening so we can scoop out our tool. There you go. Now we've got an opening, and quite easily we can remove our tool. Well, that's starting to look very, very nice. Let me just carry on with the rest and I'll see you in a second. And there you go, the first foam that's cut out. It's not too bad, it's actually fairly easy when you get started. So yeah, now I'm just going to sort out the rest. And check these out. I think that came out absolutely brilliantly. Love the looks of this. Now the question is how we actually gonna mount these boxes on top of our walls. Well, that really depends on you and what hardware you've got in your workshop. For me, I think I'm gonna go with the easiest route. I'm just gonna pre-drill some holes in the back of this and basically pre-drill some holes for some plugs into the walls and screw them onto the wall itself, and then I can whack in my foam inside. Now to make sure it actually stays in place and accidentally doesn't fall out, I'm just going to use double-sided tape on the back to basically hold it in place. However, the friction fit is actually strong enough and I don't think they would, but just in case I will use the double-sided tape. Okay, and let's whack these in. Tell you what, it's absolutely lovely, perfect friction fit into these. So yeah. Absolutely, I just love the looks of this, guys. Tell you what, if you can invest in that foam, make boxes like these. If you've got some sort of tools that you can actually show off, or you know, you can just enjoy them a little bit more. As you know, I am a tool addict, and this is just absolutely awesome for me. Love the looks of this guy. To be fair, I've actually decided not to put the double-sided tape, as I had a trial to see how they fit and I couldn't get them out. So in my case, I don't need anything else to actually hold the foam inside due to the friction fit. Nice fit all around. However, if for whatever reason they're gonna start to pop off or whatever, then I can always introduce the double-sided tape or maybe even some spray adhesive. But yeah, I have to say, I absolutely love the looks of this. It's beautiful. Everything easily accessible, just like that. Everything has got its own place, and it just looks gorgeous. Beautiful. Awesome. I hope you like it as well. Let me know down below in the comment section. There you go. That's my new tool storage solutions sorted, both from Temu. The rack itself, as I said, absolutely fine, brilliant, no issues at all, fairly heavy duty, and this absolutely is just gorgeous, beautiful to watch. Now, just a reminder, guys, all these items, the foam and the rack, you can get it on Temu. Now, if you use the link that's down below in the description of my video, and download the app, and then in the search engine of the app, just type in DWG3737, and you can potentially get $100 worth of coupons. So a bit of a bonus for your shopping, and potentially you can actually get one of these items for only $1. However, this all applies to new users to Temu. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm super happy with the new storage solutions in my workshop. That in particular, but this is doing a great job as well. I can finally actually organize myself, and even I don't have that many power tools, but for example, I'm going to use some tapes. I can put my tapes on here so they're nice in order as well. So for the next few hours, I'm probably going to be organizing this and utilizing it even more. Now, I just want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons for the ongoing support, and don't go just yet. Check out both of these playlists, plenty of really interesting videos already there. Click on them and maybe you'll find your next video to watch. For today, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.